All right. Well, welcome to the Holy Club. If you love God, if you hate God, if you don't believe in God, we're here for you. Honestly, that's why we're here. We won't hide who we are. We love Jesus. We're Christians, and we're not ashamed of that. I don't think that we'll pretend to have all of the answers, but we do believe that Jesus is the answer.
Absolutely.
My name's Konner. I'm 26, so I'm getting up there. I was born in the 1900s, so I've lived in 2 centuries.
I just taught him a new word earlier. I said he's uncaged, and he didn't even know what that meant, really.
Yeah. I substitute teach a little bit, and I'm around junior high students, and sometimes they use phrases that I don't even pretend to know what they mean. So, anyways, I just said that I substitute teach some, but really I'm in ministry. I'm a pastor, and I preach out in different places, evangelize. I have a wife, I'm married, we have a beautiful baby that's a few months old, and so that's a real quick rundown of my life. This is my friend Isaac, who is a great guy, has a great heart, loves people, loves God. He's talented, he's good at whatever he does. I'll let him introduce himself really quick.
He has me blushing a little bit, so thank you for that. I appreciate it. I don't know the last time that happened, but thank you. I'm Isaac. I get a brother, a friend of Konner. Mm-hmm. He's my mentor in a way. Yeah, he helps me with any question I have or anything. So I thank you very much for that. I honor you. So thank you. Yeah. I'm 19. I'm a union carpenter. I graduated in 2025, and I like to evangelize to whoever will listen, to whoever gives me the time of day.
That's right. Yeah. And so that's why we're here. Right. The Holy Club is our name. That's what we've decided to name this. And to some people that might sound odd. If you're familiar with the Bible at all, the word holy shouldn't sound odd. Right. Because that is actually the word that God uses to describe himself more than any other word. So it's pretty well known that God is love. We read that in 1 John in the Bible, that God's revelation of himself, he says that he is love. But that's really only found in one place. And all over the Bible, we read that God is holy. Yeah. So God's faithful, God's strong, God's mighty, all of these things. But more than anything, we read that God is holy. Mm-hmm. And really, the word holy by itself, it means to be set apart, to really be in a category by yourself. So when we apply the word holy to God, it is him being completely otherly. God is holy. There's no one like him, no one beside him, no one before him. Mm-hmm. He's God, and there's only one of him. There's only one God. The Holy Club, really, there's kind of a neat history behind it, because some of you will know the names, some very famous figures in church history. The Wesley brothers, John and Charles Wesley, and then a man named George Whitefield, absolutely one of my heroes, and some other young men at the time were at Oxford University in the 1700s, so even older than me.
Barely. Just barely.
Barely. In the 1700s, there were a group of people at Oxford University who were really setting themselves aside for prayer, for very serious and rigorous Bible study. They were fasting. They wanted to live a very disciplined Christian life. And the people on the outside kind of nicknamed them, and really meant to be derogatory, the Holy Club. But God used it, and there are many churches. I don't know that we could number how many Christians have come out of that group. And so really inspiration for us. Yeah. And also that being kind of our desire, that in the way that God shook a generation at that time, that's our prayer, that God would do it again. Right. And he's more than able to do it.
Absolutely.
Yes. So again, that's our name. That's why we're here. Isaac, who do you hope that this reaches?
I hope this reaches, I think we hit a little bit, but the skeptics, people that have questions, they're uncertain, they think they know something. Maybe they don't know the full truth, or maybe they know more than what they think they do, I hope it gets to non-believers. I hope it gets to people that are seeking for truth. And we know that Jesus claims to be the way, truth, and the life. Yep. So he claims to be the truth. That's why we think we know Jesus is the truth, because he claims to be, and we believe who he claims to be. So I hope it reaches skeptics, non-believers, even believers that want to grow in their faith, that want to know more of him.
Yes, of course. So, I mean, we're going to talk about the Bible.
Right.
We believe it's God's word. We believe that it's true in every way. And we believe that it's not just a rule book, but it leads us to Christ.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's our hope for you, our listener, whether you are a believer and you're looking to grow, or like my friend just said, you're a skeptic or whatever. We want to really reach anybody that we can with the gospel of Jesus Christ, because we believe that he is the truth. And we're not going to pretend that we have all of the answers, but we do believe that Jesus is the answer.
Right.
So again, obviously we're Christians. We've said that. Isaac, how did you become a Christian?
So I'd say I became a Christian within the past maybe not month, 6 months to a year.
I've been walking with the Lord for 6 days.
Yeah, a good 14
and now I'm going to tell everybody.
Exactly. No, probably 6 months to a year. And, I grew up a Christian my whole life.
Yeah.
I'd claim to be a Christian, but if you see me outside of church, you would know that I didn't live that life, that I was just a hypocrite. I think there's a lot of hypocrisy these days, and that's what drives people away. And me knowing that I was once a hypocrite, I can not rightfully judge, but I can tell whenever someone is claiming to be a Christian, and I can hopefully help steer them to the right path, being like, look, I used to be this way. I don't want you to be this way. I don't know if you are, but I know this is the right way. So I think back in high school, I claimed to be a Christian. I'd come to church maybe once a month. I'd be like, yeah, I went to church. Yeah, this, and that. I follow Christ. Really, I didn't. I was broken. I had this hole in my heart, this void that I needed filled, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I'd find it really wherever I could. I tried to find it in sports. I couldn't. I tried to find it in girls. I couldn't. I tried to find it in, jobs and money, and I couldn't find it at all. And so I ended up being more broken, and I couldn't fill that void in my heart, which made me keep seeking and seeking and seeking, and I could never find it. Until a time last year, 2025, a couple months after I graduated, I was so broken that I was going to take my own life. I dealt with depression for about a year and a half before that. And I was to the point where I was done. And it was not because I felt like that was the only way to get the pain to go away, but it's just because I was done. I couldn't find it anywhere, and I felt like there was no other place to look. And then I had this thought that I believed in Jesus. And so I cried out. I was like, God, I believed in you my whole life, I'd go to church and I'd pray before my meals. I'd do this, I would do that. Why haven't you shown yourself to me? And in that moment, I felt the most peace in my life. And I realized that I was trying to do everything on my own strength and in my own will, but that's not the greatest will. That's not the greatest strength. I had to look towards heaven and look towards Jesus to figure out why I was so broken and why I needed healing. And that ended up filling the void and that hole that was in my heart, and which is why we are here today. I'm here today.
Yeah. So you've experienced in yourself the real.
Yeah.
And you've also experienced in yourself the empty.
Yeah.
Even empty religion, which a lot of people put their hope in. And I think that you alluded to it already, but a lot of people that I have spoke with, so I've been around church my whole life. My dad's a pastor, probably half my life, the majority of my life now. I'm older than I thought I was there. The majority of my life, he's been preaching and in ministry, but I've grown up as a Christian. I've been around church my whole life. And I think that a lot of people, they walk away from the Lord. They're not really walking away from the Lord, but they walk away from the church because all they've experienced is nominal Christianity. Like they've grown up around church or in church, but it's never been real to them.
Right.
And I don't just mean a feeling, but I'm talking about like where God gets a hold of you and your heart changes, because religion can't do that for you. And just being self-disciplined can't do that for you. Like that's a work of God.
Right.
And I think a lot of people have experienced empty religion and they say, I don't want anything to do with that. And some people, they're calloused now because they've experienced empty religion and they think, well, I've tried the Jesus thing and that didn't do anything for me. but you don't really just try the Jesus thing.
Right.
Like you give yourself to him,
Yeah.
and he gives himself to you. And actually, one of the most famous passages in all of Scripture is John chapter 3. A lot of non-Christians know what John 3:16 is. If you watched Tim Tebow, a lot of people know what John 3:16 is. That God so loved the world, he gave his only son, that whoever would believe in him would not perish but have everlasting life. In that context of that passage, that's coming out of Jesus's mouth. And he's actually speaking to a man by the name of Nicodemus,
Right.
who was a Pharisee. And so that meant he was a very religious man, lived a very strict religious life. And Jesus told that man, you must be born again. You must be born of the Spirit.
Right.
And I believe that there are a lot of people that have been in church. Maybe you're in church right now, or you've been around it, that have never experienced the reality of being born again. And so they have the empty shell, or maybe going through the motions, or have some of the outward show, whether they mean to be fake or not. I don't mean that rude, but just the outward show of Christianity, but not the presence of the Spirit living on the inside of them. And I do believe this. I know it from myself, and I know it from experience with other people, that a person knows when that happens to them. And so you've described that you've been around church. You've described that you've had an experience with God where you've even maybe felt his presence or experienced peace. But there's a difference when you've been completely surrendered. There's a difference, I believe, that you would know. I mean, sitting here right now, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I think you would be able to say, like, hey, I have the Spirit living in me. I have the presence of God living in me. How do you think a person knows? Because we'll have people from different age groups or whatever listening. How do you think that a person knows that they're saved or that they're a Christian? Like, what's a real Christian versus a fake one, if we want to put it that way?
So when I would live the fake life, I would come to church, I'd raise my hands, I would pray, and look, I can do this. I can raise my hands and I can pray. Look at me. I think I was doing it for that reason, instead of more like, okay, God is working in my life. He's changing my heart. I'm going to do this to praise him and worship him. But instead I was doing that so people could, oh, look at this kid.
Okay.
Oh, he can pray. But I think it all started, and like I used to go to parties. I'm going to talk about the heart again, because this is the heart of my conversation, really. Yeah. Is that I'd go to parties, and I've never drank or done drugs or anything like that. So I knew that this peace that I felt in that moment was just completely real, and I wasn't hallucinating. Nothing weird was going on. I wasn't drunk or anything, because I've never experienced any of that. So that's how I knew it was so real to me. And that's whenever I felt my heart. I felt like I had heart in my heart pretty much, because I'd come to church, I'd play church, and I'd almost mock God in a way. Now that I think back on it, I'd mock God in a way, because I would be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to come to church for my benefit. Not to worship you or to learn about you, but I'm going to go to church to make me feel better. Yeah. I think the more I chased feeling was the less that God's hand was upon me, and he was not necessarily not looking over me, but I couldn't feel his presence and I couldn't understand him more. So like I'd open my Bible, I'd maybe read a couple verses, be like, oh, wow, whatever. So and then I'd close it and, collect dust. Okay. So I think really whenever whenever your heart changes, because I felt my heart change, and it's really, God works from the inside out. I think you would agree with that.
Yeah, I've preached that.
Yeah. So I felt whenever he changed my heart and he touched my heart and I felt that peace, I didn't just want to do better. I didn't want to come to church and raise my hands and pray because it made me feel better. I wanted to do it to glorify him. And look, you brought me here, so I'm going to praise you. I'm going to worship you because you are so good and so great. Yeah. So whenever my heart changed, it started to change my mind. Romans 12:2, we talked about this in youth group the other night. Yeah. It says, don't be conformed to the things of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Yeah. God, he changed my heart. He touched my heart, and he helped me to grow in him by renewing my mind more, to think the way Jesus did, to fight off temptations the way Jesus did, to just live my life in more surrenderance to him.
Yeah. So you're talking a lot about the heart, and I want to say this. offer and the promise, I should say, the promise of the gospel of Jesus Christ from the Old Testament to the New is that God will give you a new heart. And it's not just changing some things on the outside.
Right.
It's not just adding some religion to your life. It's actually a completely new heart. And only God can give you that. And so to the people listening that are looking for something, I think that's the most encouraging thing that we can say, really, is that this is true, that Jesus is real, and he has done a work in you. He's done a work in me. He's doing a work in us. And so we're not just offering to people or telling people like, hey, you should just go to church or add something, some religion to your life. No, Jesus will become your everything.
Oh, yeah.
And he will give you a completely new heart. And with a new heart, I think come new desires that are right and pleasing to him. And you've already said that when you were living for yourself or trying to please yourself, trying to fill yourself, that actually it leaves you empty. And it's kind of ironic because I kind of preached on this a little bit on Sunday, actually, which was that yesterday?
Yeah.
That was yesterday.
That was yesterday.
Yeah, a little bit yesterday morning, where it's ironic because people, in the name of living for themselves, in the name of doing what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it to please me, like thinking that's what's going to fulfill them and please them and satisfy them, actually that leaves you empty. Yeah. And there are all kinds of people who have lived that life where just trying to gratify their flesh, and they're more empty, they're more empty, they're more empty. They're more depressed, they're more depressed, they're more depressed, they're more broken, they're more broken, they're more broken. And they think that living a life for God, like, well, that sounds boring, or that would be bondage to me. Like, I don't want to be religious or whatever. Like, I don't want to have to follow these rules. Well, following Jesus is more than just about following rules. Living for him is actually what fills you.
Right.
And I mean, Jesus said this much. Jesus said, if you seek to save your life or hold on to your life, then you will lose it. But if you will lose your life or lay down your life for my sake, then you will find it. Yeah. And so I believe that what Jesus offered and what we can testify to is that living for him is way better than living for me. And I believe there's all kinds of reasons that we could go over for that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he created us. He made us.
In his image.
In his image, yeah. And so it makes sense that if he's the one who made us, then he would really be the only one that would be able to fill us.
Right.
And I think that that's an elementary Christian doctrine, Christian belief, that there is a God and that he made us. But I think that's one of the most needed messages right now, because we have, as a society, in many ways turned away from God. And there are some people who, teaching in the public school, just most people have went to public school, you're taught just evolution,
right,
that we're here for who knows why. We've come from who knows where. Yeah. This blind evolutionary process, we're here by accident. And if that's your worldview, if that's what you believe, that you're really here for no purpose, there's nothing else other than just this life, only the temporary, well, it makes sense then that a person would live a broken life and not really have a sense or a reason for living if we're just here by accident. But the good news is this: we're not here by accident. No. But there's a good God who created us, who made us, who died to save us, and we can know him. That is the greatest thing that we could share with any person, is that we can know God because he has revealed himself. How are some ways that you would say God has revealed himself, just on a grand scheme, and then also on a personal level?
As a grand scheme, I think we can just look at creation. You know, science says if we were 1 inch closer to the sun, we'd be burned up. If we were 1 inch further away, we'd be too cold to even survive. Everything is set perfectly. The way we live, what we have in our life, how we eat, how we digest. You look at your body, and that's evidence itself. Your body functions so perfectly. and so together that I don't believe it's any way it could be an accident. It couldn't just come from an explosion, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think in that way, we just look at people. I look at you and I'm like, yeah, you have a creator. He's greater than I.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything has a creator. I look at the trees and how they grow and how they die in the winter and then they grow new leaves in the summer and spring, and it's beautiful and amazing. And I think in my own life, just the evidence is whenever I cried out to him. I was thinking about this when you were talking too. Whenever I truly cried out to him, not just for show or for my own satisfaction, when I truly cried out to him in my brokest moment is whenever he answered me and wanted, not, I wouldn't say wanted, because he always wants, his will is to have a relationship with us, but it's whenever he truly seen that I was seeking for him. And I was seeking the truth and seeking relationship and wanting something more than myself.
I think God knows if it's sincere or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we can pray empty prayers. And what I mean by that is selfish prayers. And we're not really seeking God, which is what you were just saying. So creation reveals God.
Yeah.
God has revealed himself. The Bible says this much. It says every person is without excuse to know that there is a God, because he has revealed himself. His fingerprints are everywhere. His handiwork is everywhere.
Yeah.
Everything that you look at, the trees, the sky, the clouds, the rain, every creature was created by the Creator.
Right.
You can look in the mirror and see evidence for God. We're made in the image of God, which means that we have value and purpose and meaning, that there is a God who loves us and who cares enough to reveal himself to us. Ultimately, we know and believe that he revealed himself in the person of Jesus Christ, a real man who really lived. There have been skeptics and some atheists who through the years have tried to deny that we don't even know if there really was a man named Jesus.
Yeah.
But actually today, I believe that most people recognize that he really did exist. There was a real man, Jesus, who walked around Galilee, and people believed he was a miracle worker. There were hundreds of people who claimed to have seen him risen from the dead and began to worship him. Mm-hmm. The generation that saw him, we're not talking, some people try to tell this like, well, it's like a legend, you know.
Right.
Jesus, if he's telling the truth, then he's Lord. Mm-hmm. If he's lying, then maybe he's a lunatic, right? Or he's just a liar, right? If he's lying, or he actually believed it and he's crazy. So he's either a liar, a lunatic, or he's Lord. Mm-hmm. There's a modern idea, part of that conversation, that says, no, it's a legend. Like, there really was a man named Jesus, and maybe he even had some good things to say. Maybe he was a good teacher or a good leader, charismatic. People were drawn to him. But the whole idea of him being the Son of God, or being divine, or actually walking on water, or performing miracles, rising from the dead, that's a legend. That's kind of been passed down and it's been changed. I've heard this on the Joe Rogan podcast. I've heard this from, I'm forgetting his name. It's either Connor or O'Connor, which is
Alex O'Connor.
Alex O'Connor, yes. Which Connor's a good name, by the way.
Yeah, that's all right.
He spells it wrong, but so he's given that example. Actually, he's the person I heard that from, about the legend part, that this got changed. Well, I don't believe that. I don't believe the evidence points to that. Right. Basically, what I'm saying is this. Everybody agrees there was a man named Jesus. Mm-hmm. The issue is, did he actually rise from the dead or not? And that's the core of the question. I believe that we're going to deal a lot with that throughout this series of videos and these podcasts.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, me too. We want to deal with the questions that people are actually asking.
Right.
So actually, if you have any questions, then we would love to interact with you. Yeah. So let us know, comment or message us, or however that works on whatever platform you're watching this on. we don't want to just deal with the stuff that we're just comfortable with, or whatever.
No.
We want to meet people where they are,
Right.
And
It's like Peter says in 1 Peter 3:15. He says, "Be prepared to give a defense for the reason you have the hope that you have."
yes,
I mean, it doesn't say be prepared to be comfortable in what you believe and only share that, right?
yeah,
So we have to be able to give answers to everybody, and I think that me and you are both capable and wanting to give any answer that you guys have a question for.
yes, yeah. Yeah, we're to be prepared to give a defense for the hope that we
Yeah.
have that's in us. We've talked about the hope that we have, and we want to defend it. We want to proclaim it and to share it, but we want to be able to defend it. So that's kind of a little taste of what you're going to get
Yeah.
with our podcast here, this ministry, as we look at it. You may not believe it, but we're praying for you. We just prayed for you. We're going to continue to pray for you. So we hope that you'll join us. We hope that you'll ask questions and interact with us. And more than anything, we hope that you will come to find life and peace that you've experienced, that I've experienced in Jesus Christ, because he is the way, the truth, and the life. And there is no way to God. There's no way to the Father except through him. So, yes. Isaac, any last words you want to give?
No, I think you give it a chance, if you're still searching, you're still yearning, maybe you've tried everything and you still have brokenness and you're still trying to find some peace, give it a chance, come back. Every week, come back.
Yes.
Keep searching, keep seeking, do your own research. Don't just take our word for it. Yeah. Do your own research. Do you think Jesus was a lunatic? or do you think he was really like who he says he was?
Yes.
Do your own research. Just keep coming back, There's never too many questions to be asked. There's never too many answers to be given. So I think if you have questions, ask them. If you're seeking, you will find. Jesus says, if you seek me, you will find me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you seek, you will find.
Amen.
I believe being here, you're seeking something if you're here.
Yeah.
I believe you believe you'll find it.
Yeah. 2 things I know. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is King. And you need to subscribe.
Hey.
So do it right now, and we will see you in the next video.
Yeah.
All right.
See you guys.
Yeah.
That was bad.
No, it's good.